Good morning. I wanted to give you today some instruction about meditation. We meditate on this channel. There's a lot of ways to meditate. We can meditate on the words of the Bible. One key thing about meditation is getting it in rhythm with your breath. So sometimes people find a word that speaks to them from the Bible or from the Vedas or from the Dhammapada, whatever the tradition may be, and that word will be something that they will meditate with their breath. One method of meditating with that word with their breath is a method often referred to as centering prayer, and I changed it up a little bit, but basically it is saying the word and then going back to focusing on the breath, and every time your mind drifts somewhere else, going back and repeating that word to yourself in your mind until you kind of gain control of your mind again, so to speak, and focus it on the breath again. And that's one way with a word. Another way is with a word you say constantly, which would be like a mantra. And this is done by a group called the World Community of Christian Meditators. And they use the mantra often, Maranatha, which is in the Bible, and they pick that mantra because it's one that is not well known as an English word, so they don't get stuck on it. It means our Lord come, or come Lord. So they would breathe in with the breath, Maranatha, repeatedly, again and again and again. And actually, centering prayer is more like Vipassana or a Buddhist style prayer, whereas the Maranatha prayer is somewhat more like transcendental meditation or a Hindu style prayer. So, very similar to those kind of things. Sometimes you might pray, like yesterday we prayed the surrender prayer, and that's where you pray. Two parts of prayer together. The first part with the in-breath, the second part with the out-breath, and you repeat that again and again, but you don't focus on the thing you're praying about so much. That's just focusing on God when you do it and giving Him or giving her, as the case may be, control of your life. So that's another way that someone might meditate. Another method that's often talked about by a man by the last name of Eswarwan was called passage meditation. And this is a little more complicated, but it can be done. It involves memorizing a passage of sacred text, and it could be, once again, the Vedas or the Bhagavad Gita, or it could be the Granth, or it could be the New Testament, or it could be the Old Testament. And don't think because you're a Christian or a Hindu or Buddhist, you can't use other scriptures, because there's good things there too. So it would be learning something. You may want to start small, just 2 or 3 lines or something, like the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green water, by green waters. So you would simply breathe slowly, one word per breath or one phrase per breath, and then you go back and start over again and repeat it again. And that's a really nice way to pray. That's called passage meditation. So that's one method. A method that involves Lectio Divina, which is holy reading, reading the holy text and pray reading it and finding the word in the text that strikes you, and then thinking about that word. And when you've thought about that word for a while, and you feel like you got the message from that word or phrase, then go back and say the word that matches with that word or phrase for you as you meditate with it. And that's a way kind of to mix in Lectio Divina with meditation. It's a good way to do it. So there are some different ways you can meditate, and I want to say happy meditation to you, and the Lord bless you, and namaste.